We are reading about biodiversity in our Stemscopedia today. Please follow along with me as I read. When you think of the ocean, you may picture the many fascinating creatures that live in its depths. The ocean is the home to the world's largest animal, the blue whale, and perhaps its fiercest predator, the great white shark, which share the ocean with tiny photosynthetic algae. These algae, called phytoplankton, produce up to 90% of the world's oxygen. More than 1 million species live in the ocean, making it a habitat rich in biodiversity. We have two words here that we are going to write on our paper. One is, that's right, photosynthetic. Okay, you're going to write photosynthetic under a verb, a noun, or an adjective. Which one? Yes, an adjective. Photosynthetic describes the algae. So we're going to write photosynthetic as an adjective. And then you're going to write biodiversity. Let's do a better job of writing that one. That's about as good as we're going to get. Biodiversity. Is that a noun, a verb, or an adjective? A little confusing, but that one is a noun. A noun. It is like a person, place, or a thing. In this place, a thing. Biodiversity. All right. You can pause and write that on your paper, or just continue on. So biodiversity is a number of different species living in an ecosystem. Photosynthetic are organisms that use carbon dioxide and sunlight to produce oxygen and glucose, food. Let's keep on reading together. The biodiversity of ocean life is important and beneficial to human populations in a variety of ways. For example, in 2008, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to three scientists who had investigated a chemical isolated from the jellyfish Achaeura victoria. This chemical, named GFP, emits a fluorescent green glow. Scientists attached GFP to other molecules within living cells and tissues, and for the first time, they could see the inner workings of living cells under a microscope. GFP has revolutionized molecular and medical science. Is there anything we need to underline and write down on our paper? Yeah, I don't think so either. Imagine if Achiora victoria had become extinct. Let's write that one down. That's an important word. Before the discovery of GFP. How many new medicines, technical breakthroughs, and unexpected discoveries might we have missed out on because of the thousands of species that have disappeared from our world? Human activities such as overhunting, commercial fishing, and deforestation have caused the extinction of many species, including the Bali tiger, the dodo bird, and the West African black rhino, pictured below. How else might human activities harm the ocean and other ecosystems? Why is it critical that we protect all of the diverse species in our ecosystems? All right, so what is extinct? Is that a noun, a verb, or a adjective? I would say a verb is something you do. Pretty sure that's a verb. Maybe I need to look that up. Extinct. Extinct definition. And it is an adjective. Describes it. I'm sorry. Extinct is an adjective. All right, we're going to go down the page. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity is a contraction of biological diversity and is used to describe the variety of species in an ecosystem. Areas with greater biodiversity will have a greater number of native species living in the ecosystem. Biodiversity is often used to measure the health of ecosystems. An ecosystem with greater biodiversity will be more resilient to harmful events. Let's underline the word resilient. That's an important one. Such as disease outbreaks, forest fires, droughts, etc. The more diverse species are present, the more likely some of them will find a way to survive the disaster. If an ecosystem has very little biodiversity, it has likely already experienced some catastrophe and is not well equipped to survive any further stress. Resilient, is that a noun, a verb, or an adjective? Yeah, that was an adjective as well, describing the ecosystem as resilient. All right, let's go to the next paragraph. Every species in an ecosystem relies on others to survive. If too many species are lost, the ecosystem may collapse. It's important, but I'm not going to write it down, but it's an important part. If a habitat suddenly begins to lose its animals and plant types, ecologists become worried about and search for causes such as pollution. Alternatively, an increase in biodiversity of an area may mean that corrective measures have been effective. Anything there that we need to write down? Okay, let's go to the next one. Look out. Some habitats are naturally stressful, so few organisms are adapted to life there. Those that are adapted may well be unique or rare. For example, only certain plants can live in the desert because water is so limited. Such ecosystems are still very important, even though they have less biodiversity. We're on the reflect section now. How do healthy ecosystems benefit or service people where you live? Provisioning services. That is a type of service that includes food, water, raw material, genetic resources, medical resources, ornamental resources. We can write provisioning as a verb, right? Am I right? Oh, no, I can't even do that one. Won't go to the pen. Back. Provisioning definition. It's a verb. Okay, good. Glad I had that one right. Okay. Regulating services. Is regulating a noun, a verb, or an adjective? A verb. Write that down. Air quality. So that is a type of service that includes air quality regulation, climate regulation, disturbance moderation, regulation of water flows, waste treatment, erosion prevention, nutrient cycling, pollination, and biological control. Okay, we're under habitat services. Is a habitat a noun, a verb, or an adjective? Right, a noun. A noun. It is a person, place, or thing, right? A thing. Nursery services, genetic diversity. Diversity are the type of services that habitat services include. And cultural services. I don't even know about that one. Cultural. What is that one? That is cultural would be an adjective, right? It describes it. Cultural services. Why did that go away? I lost my work there. Cultural services are things like aesthetic information, things that are beautiful, recreation, inspiration, spiritual experience, cognitive development. All right, let's go down to people rely on ecosystems. And cultural is an adjective describing services. Oceans or marine ecosystems are indispensable resources for life on Earth. Oceans cover more than 70% of the planet's surface. Algae in the oceans consume carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. People rely on Earth's oceans for a wide variety of purposes, such as the following. Most goods and products are transported between countries via shipping routes throughout the ocean. Useful minerals and resources such as gold, silver, metal ores, and oil are retrieved through mining the ocean floor. Humans enjoy recreational activities in the ocean such as swimming, diving, sailing, and snorkeling among coral reefs. Most cultures of the world consume a great deal of ocean life as food. Many of these food sources are harvested from ocean systems such as estuaries and kelp forests. What do you think? How important do you think estuaries and kelp forests are to biodiversity? Let's underline estuaries and kelp forests. Those are two really important words. Noun, verb, or adjective, those are nouns. Write those down. Estuaries, far left, right here, are coastal water bodies that receive river flow and open to the ocean. Kelp forests, right here, are open ocean ecosystems based around marine algae populations. Kelp forests contain a large diversity of ocean life, such as fish and shellfish. When I used to scuba dive in California, I would be in the Monterey Bay in the kelp forests, and the estuaries is one of my favorite places to go canoeing and go kayaking. Human activities have modified Earth's ocean systems. Human activities impact Earth's ocean systems. One of the most concerning impacts of human activity is water pollution. Water pollution is the addition of harmful substances and chemicals to natural water. Water pollution occurs in many different ways. One source of water pollution is dumping waste into sewers or rivers that empty into the ocean. Pollutants are sometimes dumped directly into the ocean. Contaminants such as fertilizers and pesticides from farms accumulate in the soil. When rain and other water move through the soil, the water dissolves and moves the pollutants. The runoff that results eventually empty into the ocean. Okay, runoff. That is the water that goes off and runs into the ocean. Is that a noun, a verb, or an adjective? Let's see, that would be a verb, an action, right? Runoff. Runoff definition is a noun. Okay. Man, I'm getting it all wrong. Runoff is a noun. Glad I'm checking that. Yep. We've got our picture there. You see the ocean and what is around, what's going on over here. I wonder where that is. Looks like the Dominican Republic to me, if I had to make a guess. Reflect. Pesticide runoff can poison marine organisms. Fertilizer runoff can cause populations of bacterial and algal populations to explode, crowding out other organisms and reducing biodiversity. Spills from ships such as oil tankers also pollute the oceans. The 2010 oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico directly affected ocean, coastal, and estuary ecosystems. Humans impact the oceans through overharvesting. This involves harvesting a resource at an unsustainable level. Let's talk about overharvesting. Nope. So, overharvesting, is that a noun, a verb, or an adjective? Okay, I have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's a verb again, but I keep on being wrong about that. This is why I don't teach ELA, right? Over harvesting on dictionary.com is a I didn't say over harvest, over harvesting. No results. It's not going to give it to me. I'm going to call it a verb. Um, they say it's a verb used with or without to. Yeah, it's a verb. There we go. Okay, good. There we go. This involves harvesting a resource at an unsustainable level. Marine life is sometimes fished until populations are nearly or completely wiped out. Changing the population sizes of different species also disturbs the balance of marine food webs. If prey animals die off, the predators that depend on them also die. On the other hand, if predators die off, prey animal populations may grow out of control. Humans also modify ecosystems by introducing new species into non native ecosystems from ships that carry aquatic organisms, insects in wood products, commercial plants, and pet trade. Such invasive species, there's an important one. That one's definitely, what is it? A noun, a verb, or an adjective? Yeah, definitely write that under noun, invasive species. Disrupt the biodiversity and food webs, competing with or harming species native to that ecosystem. The zebra mussel, right here, zebra mussel, came to the United States from Eurasia in ship water released into the Great Lakes in 1988. Since then, they have spread everywhere and block water pipes, attached to hulls, and attached to other native mussels and crayfish. Humans can restore ecosystems. One way that humans attempt to compensate for overharvesting is to use artificial reefs. Artificial reefs are human made underwater structures that promote marine life by providing surfaces for marine plants and animals to attach to the ocean floor. These human made ecosystems can support complex food webs. However, there are concerns with artificial reefs. Often they are made out of old objects such as oil rigs, train cars, and boats. Such material may release toxic chemicals into the ocean. Let's underline the word restore. That's an important word, I would say, because that's really talking about this entire part. And artificial reefs. So underline both of those. Restore. That's a adjective, verb, or a noun. Let's see if I can get this one right. Um, Restore definition, and we get wow. Didn't work very well there, did it? No. A verb. Good. It's an action. An artificial reef. That's a human-made underwater structure. It is a noun. That's right. It is a thing. Okay, let's go down to reflect. Restoring ecosystem damage can also involve creating water purification systems to filter pollutants, rebuilding coastal beaches, or adding sturdy ground cover to prevent erosion. Efforts to reduce, reuse, and recycle natural resources help in preventing a decrease in biodiversity. Sustainable, that's one of our important words. Sustainable, is that a noun, a adjective, or a verb? See, I told you, I would call it an adjective, but I like to look these things up. just to make sure. An adjective, good. Is another eco-friendly process that promotes healthy ecosystems, such as through recycling nutrients and waste and avoiding non-renewable material. So that is how we are sustainable by reducing, reusing, and recycling, and uh, having sustainable agriculture with our food products. Look out! Environmental changes cause some organisms to perish or move while others thrive. Rapid changes to an environment are those that happen quickly. Some examples of rapid changes include hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, volcano eruptions, etc. Hurricanes bring high winds and huge amounts of water. When water from the ocean crashes onto land, the living organisms that typically survive in fresh water are threatened and may not survive. Living organisms have two outcomes that face them when they are hit by rapid change to their ecosystem. First, if they are capable, they can migrate to escape the harmful conditions. If that is not an option for the organisms, they may die. Nature often finds a balance when environments change. Some organisms may die, while others find an opportunity to survive. What do you think? Nature overcomes some natural disasters, such as when flooded mangrove forests or a burnt forest are reborn. Study the photos on the right and give examples of how an old ecosystem might be destroyed and make way for a different ecosystem. So when you go on yours, you are going to look at these two pictures. Look at the flooded mangrove forest and the burnt forest, and click right here and answer the question. Um, how might this make way for a different ecosystem? Make room for a different ecosystem in this mangrove forest and the burnt forest. Try it now. Humans rely on the ocean for a wide variety of resources. However, many human activities impact ocean ecosystems. Although some of these impacts have positive consequences, many lead to negative consequences. Below is a list of human activities and a list of some consequences of those activities. Match each activity with the consequence it can cause. Keep in mind that human activities may have several consequences. So we have consequences: bacterial algal growth, removal of oxygen from marine waters, death of fish or other marine life, accumulation and spread of toxic chemicals in ocean habitats, destruction of coastal land habitats, disruption of marine food webs, endangerment or extinction of entire marine populations or species, reduction of the impact of overharvesting, spread of disease, rising sea levels, toxic chemical consumption by humans, and acid precipitation over oceans. So, overusing fertilizer and pesticide for agriculture, which ones of those might happen because of overusing fertilizer? Ooh, what gave the answer there? Uh-oh, I better go up. You guys are on your own for that one. It's giving all the answers. Okay, that is all for that one. You are also going to be filling in this part right here. Um, water quality impact. What were the problems? You're going to write those here. And what are the solutions? Those here. Go back to the page and look at fisheries. What were the problems that we read about here? And what are the solutions you read about here? So you're going to fill that in. Also, you can write some more nouns, verbs, and adjectives as you go.